Commander Shepard is sent out on a shakedown mission on Eden Prime, a human colony, to test the stealth drives, or so they are told. After some banter with Jeff Joker Moreau, the pilot, and Staff Lieutenant Caden Alenko, a powerful biotic, Shepard comes to know more about the Spectre aboard the Normandy, a Turian called Nihilus. Spectres are agents that work directly for the Citadel Council and are known to play loosely with the law to get things done. After that, Shepard meets up with Nihilus and their captain, David Anderson. It is revealed that it is no simple mission, as a Prothean beacon has been unearthed by the colonist scientists. The Normandy is sent because with the colony being located on the edges of the Terminus systems, an area known for pirates and slaver bands, it is very important that this extremely valuable beacon is recovered safely. It is also revealed that the secondary objective is Nihilus observing Shepard in action, as they have been put forward as a potential Spectre candidate. Just before touchdown, a transmission is received. It shows Alliance soldiers under heavy fire, requesting assistance. A giant alien dreadnought ship is seen in the background. Commander Shepard, Lieutenant Alenko, and Corporal Jenkins set foot on Eden Prime, with Nihilus rushing ahead, saying he works quicker on his own, but that they will recruit later. After just a few moments, the party is ambushed by Geth assault drones, and Jenkins is killed. Shepard and Alenko continue on, and meet up with Gunnery Chief Ashley Williams, who was stationed with her unit on Eden Prime. The rest of her unit was cut down by the Geth, and she joins up with Shepard. William knows little about the Geth or their reason for being on the colony, but leads the party to the dig site where the beacon should be. When they arrive, they find out that it had been moved. What they do find, however, are husks. The landscape is littered with giant mechanical spikes, dubbed dragon teeth, that the Geth impale human victims on. After a couple of hours, the corpses are reanimated and mindlessly attack any organic. The party is able to neutralize all Husk and Geth forces, and they make their way to the train platform, speaking with some surviving colonists on the way. Meanwhile, Nihilus meets Saren Arterius, another Council Spectre at said train station. Saren tells Nihilus everything is under control, and when Nihilus turns around, he is shot in the back and killed by Saren. The Spectre then leaves for the beacon and orders the remaining Geth to destroy the remains of the colony. When he finds the beacon, he is lifted off the ground by it, receiving some sort of knowledge. Eventually, Shepard's party arrives to find a dead Nihilus, and they are filled in by some workers as to what happened. They continue on to the tram and defeat the remaining Geth, while disarming the demolition charges that were set. Eventually, Shepard reaches the beacon, and one of their party members gets too close and gets lifted up as well. Shepard is able to push them aside, but gets lifted up instead and receives a horrific vision of sorts. They are rendered unconscious and are taken back to the Normandy by their crew. Aboard the dreadnought, Saren gets a report by an Asari matriarch. He hears how the colony of Eden Prime was saved by an Alliance soldier, and how they also used the beacon. He is not happy and enrages. He almost attacks the Asari, but calms himself down and orders the human to be eliminated. Shepard wakes up hours later in the ship's infirmary and is briefed by Captain Anderson. The vision was very confusing and they couldn't make much sense of it. Anderson tells Shepard about Saren. If he's working with the Geth, that means the Spectre has gone rogue and the Council needs to know. Anderson also informs Shepard that Ashley Williams will be reassigned to the Normandy. The party travels to the Citadel, a massive space station housing the most powerful part of intergalactic society. Here they meet with the Council, led by an Asari, a Turian, and a Solarian, the three most powerful races. Shepard makes their case against Saren, and the Council is unwilling to believe Shepard without proof. Shepard talks about the plan of action with Captain Anderson and human ambassador Udina, and they are able to pursue a couple leads. Eventually, Shepard meets up with Garrus Vicarian, a Turian CSEC Citadel security officer who had been doing his own investigation into Saren, but hit a wall because of his untouchable Spectre status. Through Barla Vaughn, an information broker who works for the elusive Shadow Broker, Shepard also finds out that Urdnot Rex, a Krogan bounty hunter, might be able to help them out. Aquarian Talizora Naraya recently arrived on the Citadel and claimed to have evidence of Saren's connection to the Geth. She wanted to trade it with the Shadow Broker in exchange for protection. All information links back to Fist, a club owner who recently betrayed the Shadow Broker. Shepard is able to piece all this together through meeting with Rex and Garrus. Upon confronting Fist, Shepard finds out that Talizora's meeting is a trap, and they have to rush out to an alleyway to save her. They manage this, and Tali shows her gratitude by giving the party the evidence and help against taking down Saren. Garrus, Tali, and Rex now join Shepard as teammates. The evidence Tali has turns out to be a voice clip that she was able to extract from a gas memory gore she took down. It hints at Saren looking for something called the Conduit, and the Asari is identified as Matriarch Benezia. Saren also talks about bringing about the return of the Reapers. The evidence is brought before the Council, and they promptly strip Saren of his Spectre status. They don't seem to care about the Reapers, nor are they willing to send a fleet after Saren. Instead, they declare Commander Shepard the first human Spectre with a small ceremony, and task Shepard with hunting down Saren. Captain Anderson steps down as captain and gives Shepard control of the Normandy and her crew. At this point, Shepard has 3 leads: Geth attacks on the planets Noveria and Pharos, tracking down Liara Tassoni, who is a researcher and currently at a dig site on Therum. Shepard gives an inspiring speech to their entire crew, and they set out into the galaxy.
This is Commander Shepard speaking. We have our orders. Find Saren before he finds the Conduit. I won't lie to you, crew. This mission isn't going to be easy. For too long, our species has stood apart from the others. Now it's time for us to step up and do our part for the rest of the galaxy. Time to show them what humans are made of. Our enemy knows we're coming. When we go into the Traverse, Saren's followers will be waiting for us. But we'll be ready for them, too. Humanity needs to do this. Not just for our own sake, but for the sake of every other species in Citadel space. Saren must be stopped, and I promise you all, we will stop him.
Well said, Commander. Captain will be proud.
The Captain gave up everything so I could have this chance. We can't fail.
Yes.
When Shepard touches down on Therum in a small ground vehicle, the Mako, they quickly realize the way to the dig site is infested with Geth. They fight through them and eventually reach the mineshaft into the Prothean ruin. Inside, they find Liara Tassoni trapped in a containment field that she accidentally triggered when trying to protect herself from the Geth. If you left her mission for last, she has been suspended in the field for many days, and it takes some convincing that Shepard is indeed real. Liara also reveals that she is not involved with her mother Benezia and hasn't spoken to her in many years. Shepard uses a mining laser to carve a path to Liara and frees her from the barrier. They are set upon by Saren's Geth and Krogan forces and fight their way through them. The laser set off a seismic event, and the party is forced to flee the mineshaft and only barely make it out alive. Back aboard the Normandy, Liara talks about her studies on the Protheans and her theories on their extinction. Shepard shares theirs, from what the Bacon showed them, and Liara is amazed. Liara joins up with Shepard, and the crew is now complete. Staff Lieutenant Caden Alenko, Gunnery Chief Ashley Williams, ex-CSEC Officer Garrus Vicarian, Krogan Bounty Hunter Rex, Quarian Technician Talizora, and Asari Researcher Liara Tassoni. When Shepard decides to visit Noveria, they find out that Matriarch Benezia recently arrived. A blizzard has cut off communications with Peak 15, the research facility that she headed for. Shepard isn't allowed access to the garage to pursue her, but there are some people who need help and might be willing to give up their access pass in thanks. With that done, Shepard faces the blizzard and only finds more Geth and a supposed extinct species of alien, the Rachni. After fighting through those, Shepard activates the facility's VI Mira and is able to access Rift Station. This station is filled with binary helix scientists that survived the Rachni attacks. Shepard learns that a Rachni egg was found on a Delaric spaceship and it was hatched into a Rachni queen. Binary Helix had hoped to breed an army of Rachni, but the young turned on them after being separated from the queen. Regardless, Shepard can choose to help the scientists, but gets attacked by an Asari loyal to Benezia. Eventually, Shepard tracks down the matriarch, who attacks the party, even if Liara, her daughter, is present. After the battle, Benezia regains some of her senses and reveals that Saren is using some sort of indoctrination to have his followers do his bidding. She shares some of Saren's plans. It seems that Saren is looking for the Mu relay, and Benezia was sent to retrieve the information from the Rachni Queen's mind. She is able to hand over the coordinates to Shepard before her mind is lost to Saren again, and Shepard is forced to put her down. Now, Shepard has to choose what to do with the Rachni Queen. It is able to communicate through a dead Asari commando and explains how most of her species was under some sort of control during the Rachni Wars, and that all she wants is to take her children back into deep space and teach them songs of harmony. Shepard can either let her live or trigger a failsafe that drowns the queen in acid, effectively bringing about the complete extinction of a sentient species. Regardless of what Shepard chooses, they are now one step closer to finding Saren. Next up is Pharaohs. The Normandy touches down in the spaceport of human colony Zeus Hope, which is owned by Exogeny Corporation. They fund the colony, and in exchange the colonists work for them. The Geth have been attacking the colonists and only a handful survived. The ones that did are acting very strangely, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Nonetheless, Shepard can help the colonists out by clearing the Geth, collecting power cells, etc., or they can go straight up to the Skyway to make their way to Exogeny's headquarters. A small group of colonists have set up a refugee camp near the headquarters, and one of them asks if Shepard can bring back her daughter, a scientist still trapped inside. They also meet an Exogeny rep, who seems more concerned with the company's profits than the lives of the colonists. Inside the headquarters, Shepard does find the daughter, Lisbeth. Through a VI, Shepard finds out the truth behind the colonists' strange behavior. Exogeny discovered a mind-controlling plant, the Thorian, underneath the Zeus Hope colony. Instead of evacuating the colonists, they decide to leave them there as a control group, hoping to be able to use the mind-controlling powers of the alien for themselves. Shepard eventually finds a way to knock off the Geth dropship that has attached itself to the building and eliminates any leftover Geth forces. Together with Lisbeth, the party makes their way back to the refugee camp. When they arrive, the Exogeny rep reveals that he had just gotten word from Exogeny and they want the entire colony destroyed. Shepard is able to deal with him in a couple of ways, either convince him of the potential profit in being the company that aided the recovery of a human colony, or just shoot them. With that dealt with, Shepard can go back to Zeus Hope to deal with the Thorian. Before leaving, Lisbeth and her mom ask Shepard to spare the colonists who have gone violent under the Thorian's control. Shepard now has the choice of using stun grenades to knock them out, or just kill the innocents anyway. With that dealt with, the Thorian can be confronted. It is a monstrous creature that has no intention to negotiate with what it calls meat. Shepard is forced to destroy its neural nodes, which causes it to tumble to its death. An Asari emerges from a leftover pod and introduces herself as Shiala. She is an Asari commando that had traveled with Saren and Benezia. She reveals how Benezia had only tried to steer Saren in a more peaceful path, but got indoctrinated anyway, along with her commandos. Saren sacrificed Shiala to the Thorian in exchange for a cipher, information about the Protheans that can be used to decipher the information from the Prothean beacon. Shiala gives Shepard the same cipher by melding her mind with them. Shepard then has the choice to let the Asari go to help rebuild the colony, or to execute her. With the Thorian dealt with, the colonists' minds are free again, if Shepard didn't kill them, and Shepard now has the cipher in them, which hopefully is able to lead them to the conduit before Saren. The Council contacts Shepard with information on Saren. A Solarian espionage team that was investigating Saren sent off a mission report that was unable to be deciphered, so they want Shepard to check it out. When the party arrives at the base on Vermeer, they are met with Captain Kirhei, the leader of the Solarian squad. They have found a Krogan breeding facility that Saren is using to build a Krogan army. Kirhei and Shepard devise a plan to destroy the whole compound. The Solarians will distract the Geth while Shepard hits around the back and plants a nuclear bomb. Rex is here for the mission and Shepard will have to deal with him. Since the facility has a possible cure for the genophage, the bioweapon the Solarians and Thurians deployed to end the Krogan rebellions, Rex cannot let Shepard destroy the base. Shepard can either talk Rex down, shoot him, or tell Ashley to shoot him. Regardless, Shepard makes their way into the facility. Inside, they discover that the main purpose was not to cure the genophage, but to study indoctrination, the effect with which Saren's dreadnought, Sovereign, is able to control everyone that is on it. Shepard also finds another beacon, which gives them another vision. Soon after, they find a hologram of Sovereign, and it is revealed that Sovereign isn't a Reaper ship, it is an actual Reaper. Sovereign has a conversation with Shepard, and tells them how the Reapers built the relays and the Citadel as a means to advance organic life forms along the lines that they desire, only for them to harvest them at their apex. It also tells Shepard that any attempt to stop this from happening will be futile. Sovereign then cuts the connection and heads to Shepard's location.
We are eternal, the pinnacle of evolution and existence. Before us, you are nothing. Your extinction is inevitable. We are the end of everything. We impose order on the chaos of organic evolution. You exist because we allow it, and you will end because we demand it.
They do manage to set up the nuke, but then the Solarians contact them. They are under heavy fire from the Geth. Shepard takes a team to help them, but as they set off, the Geth start advancing on the nuke they placed. One group has Caden, and the other has Ashley in it. Shepard will have to choose, as there is no way to save both. Once the choice has been made, Saren advances on Shepard's position. He tries to make Shepard join his cause, but they refuse. Saren is able to get away, and Shepard and their party make it back to the Normandy, with either Caden or Ashley dying in the blast while holding off the Geth from disabling the bomb. Back on the Normandy, Liara helps Shepard make sense of the now complete vision. It turned out the beacons held a distress signal of sorts, warning about the return of the Reapers, the synthetic race that wiped out the Protheans 50,000 years ago. Liara recognized the area shown in the vision as the planet of Ilos, a place she has studied in the past. Ilos wasn't able to be reached before, because the only access point was the Mu relay, which had gotten lost, which is why Saren needed its current coordinates. The crew gets interrupted by Joker, the pilot, with a message from the Council. They are putting together an effort to take down Saren. Overjoyed, Shepard returns to the Citadel, eager to join their forces. When they arrive, however, it turns out that all they did was set up a blockage around the mass relays to stop Saren from reaching the Citadel. They are also completely unwilling to believe Shepard's warning about the Reapers. They also refuse to send a fleet to Ilos, as the planet is located in the lawless Terminus systems. Sending an official Citadel fleet there could mean war. Shepard suggests that the Normandy stealth systems could take them in undetected, but the Council just expresses their annoyance at Shepard's repeated warnings about the Reaper threat. Ambassador Udina puts the Normandy on lockdown and grounds the ship in an attempt to appease them. Lost and frustrated, Shepard talks with one of their crew. Things seem hopeless until Captain Anderson contacts them and says he has a plan. Anderson believes Shepard's claims and wishes to help. Shepard expresses their concern. Going against the ambassador's wishes could get Anderson charged with treason, but he sees it as a small price to pay for preventing galaxy-wide extinction. Anderson goes into Udina's office and knocks him out and unlocks the Normandy. Shepard is then free to leave the Citadel and set course for Ilos. Leaving for Ilos is the point of no return in the game, and before that there are many optional side missions that have significant impact on the story, a few of which I will describe here before narrating the conclusion. On the Citadel, Shepard is able to help research the Keepers, strange bug-like aliens that have inhabited the Citadel before the current race is settled there. They keep the station running and seem to live in an inaccessible core of the station. Garrus tells Shepard about a frustrating job he had while with CSEC. A Solarian doctor called Dr. Salion was experimenting on people, growing extra organs in their bodies for harvesting. Garrus tried to take him down but was forced to let him go. You can go and track him down and either encourage Garrus to let him go or just shoot him in sight. If you let him go, he pulls a gun anyway and you have to put him down regardless. You explain to Garrus how intention is more important than outcome. Shepard meets with an Asari consort, Sha'ira, on the Citadel. If you help her resolve an issue with an old Turian general and an Alcor ambassador, she gives Shepard some advice. If Shepard doesn't find that payment enough, she can have sex with them. She also gives Shepard a little trinket which prompts a strange encounter much later in the game on a remote planet. If used in a certain place, it gives Shepard a strange vision about how the Protheans influenced and meddled in the lives of primitive humans thousands of years ago. Rex tells you about his past, how his father betrayed him and how he was forced to leave the planet Tuchanka after fighting him to the death. Somewhere, his family's armor was lost, taken by Turians after the rebellions. You can help Rex retrieve it, which he greatly appreciates. Shepard is tasked to track Geth activity in the Armstrong cluster. The Geth are located on 5 different planets, and at their main base, Shepard is able to download vital information about the Geth. Later, Tali asks Shepard if they can have a copy of the data, so that they can bring it back to the Quarian migrant fleet after the mission is completed. On Luna, the moon of Earth, a VI has gone rogue. Shepard is tasked with shutting it down. The VI seems to have gained some sort of awareness, and upon shutting down, its last mission is help. Shepard encounters a couple of Cerberus research bases after promising to help Admiral Kahuko of the Alliance find his lost unit. It turns out this human terrorist organization called Cerberus is conducting terrible experiments, and Shepard eventually finds Kahuko's corpse. He clearly knew too much. One of the DLC missions puts Shepard on asteroid X-57. The Batarians are trying to hurl the asteroid onto Terra Nova. Upon shutting down the forces that propel it forward to the surface, they are confronted with the terrorist leader, Balak. Shepard then has to choose to either take down Balak or let him go, but save a group of hostages. Shepard meets a crazy fan on the Citadel, Conrad Werner. They can treat them nicely or brush them off rudely. If Shepard has the spacer background, there is a mission where they can contact their mother, Hannah Shepard. With the colonist background, Shepard is confronted with a girl that lived on their colony who was taken by Batarian slavers at age 6. Shepard can help calm her down, or push her too far, which prompts the girl to kill herself. An Earthborn Shepard is met with an old gang member from Earth, which they can either help or not. There are also missions which are affected by Shepard's military background, but these missions are not exclusive to this background, they just change some of the dialogue and outcome. As a side objective, Shepard is able to scan planets both in orbit and planetside with the Mako. They can find all sorts of rare elements and artifacts of other races. Okay, that about sums up all the notable side missions. Now on to the conclusion of Mass Effect 1. During the game, between mission, Shepard is able to talk with their crew. Through this dialogue, they're able to find out much about the past of their squad mates and learn about the races of their non-human crew. Also, Shepard is able to pursue a romance with one of their crew. For a female Shepard, they can hook up with either Kaidan or Liara. For a male Shepard, Ashley or Liara. That is, of course, if they do not die in the blast on Vermeer. When the Normandy is en route to Ilos, Shepard's chosen love interest joins them in the captain's quarters, and they can choose to spend the romantic night together. Just as everyone is putting their pants back on, Joker interrupts and tells the crew that they're about to hit the Mu relay and will arrive on Ilos soon. Saren has already arrived with a bunch of Geth dropships, but the Normandy is able to enter the planet's atmosphere undetected due to her stealth drives. Shepard is dropped planetside with her chosen party. They land close to a bunker that Saren just entered and locked behind them, so they try to find another way in. Shepard finds a Prothean recording with more warning about the Reapers, but it's too damaged to make out much. Eventually, they find a way into the bunker. Entering with the Mako, they see thousands of cryogenic Prothean stasis pods, but they are all shut down. Suddenly, a barrier closes in Shepard and their squad, and they are forced to continue on foot through a side passage. Inside the base, they encounter a VI called Vigil. Vigil tells Shepard how the Citadel is actually a trap, specifically built by the Reapers to further their goals. The Citadel itself works as a mass relay, connected to deep space, where the Reapers lay hiding for 50,000 years. The Keepers were one of the first races indoctrinated by the Reapers, and they were repurposed to keep the Citadel functioning and to accommodate any new races settling onto the Citadel. They will also activate the Citadel's inner relay when Sovereign gives them the signal. Sovereign seems to be the vanguard of the Reapers, left behind to start off the invasion when the organic races are deemed advanced enough, and to usher in the new genocide cycle. The reason why the Reapers harvest all organic life in cycles is unknown, however. Once the harvest is done, the Reapers go back into deep space to recharge and seal the relay once more, since they seem to be vulnerable during those 50,000 years. The Protheans' extinction came after centuries of war. The scientists stationed at Ilos tried to preserve their race by going into cryogenic stasis, with the VI Vigil looking over them. As time went on, power reserves ran out, and only a handful of scientists were still alive. This small group traveled to the Citadel through the conduit, a small mass relay on Ilos built by the Protheans themselves. Working only as a one-way link, they were able to enter the Citadel and alter the Keeper's signal to prevent the Reapers from directly seizing control on the Citadel from deep space. Vigil suggests that the current force of the Council should be enough to take down Sovereign, a single Reaper. However, if Sovereign would have time to use an agent, like Saren, to manually undo the changes to the Keeper signal, the Citadel would be lost regardless. Apparently, that had been the Sovereign's plan all along, after discovering the Prothean alterations. After all this, Shepard quickly makes their way to the conduit, following Saren, who already went through with Geth forces. Sovereign also enters the Citadel and assaults the gathered fleets. The Battle of the Citadel has begun. In a nick of time, Shepard is able to drive the Mako through the conduit and enter in the middle of the Presidium. Saren is headed up to the council chambers to seize control of the station. Shepard takes the elevator up, but is shut down halfway through. Shepard blows out the glass of the elevator, and the party continues in zero gravity with their magnetized boots. Saren reaches the control, and Sovereign is crushing the Citadel fleets. Saren closes down the Citadel arms, locking everything in, including the Reaper and the Geth fleet. In the meanwhile, Shepard is fighting off wave after wave of Geth that keep dropping in from their ships. Eventually, they reach a maintenance shaft that takes them to the council chambers. They meet Saren, who throws a grenade their way. The party is forced to take cover, and Saren tries to convince Shepard to play along with the Reaper's plan. Saren shows that his faith in Sovereign is leaving here, but he does boast about how Sovereign made him perfect by implanting him with cybernetics. He sees this as the perfect future, organics and synthetics combined as one. Shepard can then attack Saren or talk him down. If talked down successfully, Saren redeems himself by shooting himself in the head. Regardless, he dies, and Shepard is able to upload a failsafe they had gotten from Vigil onto the Citadel, which gives them control of the station again. The arms of the Citadel open up, and Shepard is given a choice. Send in the human fleet to defend the Destiny Ascension, the dreadnought carrying the Citadel Council, or using that fleet to bring down Sovereign. No matter what, Sovereign is eventually destroyed, either at the cost of the lives of the Council or a large portion of the human fleet. Meanwhile, Shepard wants to double-check if Saren is dead. When they drop down to a lower level, Saren is reanimated by Sovereign as a last-ditch effort and attacks Shepard. He is, of course, put down. Out in space, the Normandy is able to deal the final blows against Sovereign, whose kinetic barriers were down when Shepard killed the cybernetic Saren. Pieces of the ship are landing onto the Citadel, doing heavy damage to the station. One of the pieces of debris is heading straight for Shepard's party location and crushes them. Later, a rescue party recovers their two teammates. Reluctantly, they accept that Shepard died in the crash. Commander Anderson, who was leading the rescue, takes one look back and sees movement. It's Commander Shepard, injured but smiling as they make their way to the squad. Now, for the epilogue. If the Council was saved, they thank Shepard and offer humanity a spot on the Council. Shepard can nominate either Anderson or Udina for the role. If the Council was left to die, humanity forms either an all-human council, if Shepard went renegade, or a council with human and 3 other council races, if Shepard was Paragon. They can still choose whether Anderson or Udina joins. After that, you can see Shepard back aboard the Normandy, determined to find a way to stop the Reaper threat.